1.6 GPA. My first semester of engineering at the University of Texas. Got my grades, 1.6. What do you do? What do you do? And I hope that this story will motivate you and encourage you, whatever it is that you're working towards in your life. I got a 1.6 GPA. Everybody around me was saying, Braun, maybe engineering's not for you. My advisors were saying, maybe you need to do something else. The counselors were telling me, maybe you should consider something else. Everyone around me was saying, maybe this just isn't for you. But I knew inside I had a yearning, I had a purpose. I was nurturing my dream of becoming an engineer, and I wanted to keep going. What should I do? We just spent a lot of money on my first semester, and it's down the tubes with a 1.6 GPA. I did the math. That's a 40, so it's like making a 40 for those of you that don't know the 1.6. My average of all my classes a 40. I'm a failure. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. All of those thoughts going in my mind. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. When I graduated high school, I was in the lower half of my class. I didn't have a good academic record, but I knew I loved engineering. I knew I loved doing things like engineering because of some amazing teachers in my shop classes, and those I competed in what was called NT Best, Boosting Engineering and Science Technologies. And I knew I could do engineering. I loved it. I even had competed with some at a U.S. First in Orlando at the Epcot Center with some of the top people in the world. So I knew I could do it. But I was struggling because of all my failures, because of my grades, because of the things that were trying to hold me back. And even when I tried to go to junior college because there was no way I could get into a college based on what I did in high school, I took the test to get into a junior college. I couldn't even pass the test. They said if I want to go to college, I've got to take remedial everything. I had to take remedial English, remedial reading, the only thing I didn't have to take remedial was math. But in math in junior college, it literally took me 3 times to pass Calculus 2 and differential equations. Like it took me over and over all these failures. And even people in junior college were telling me, man, most people that go to junior college, they don't make it through college. So I had all these thoughts going on, especially when I finally made it. I haven't shared with you also, when I tried to apply to the engineering program at the University of Texas, it was the top 10 in the nation. They wrote me a letter back. And this is what I want to encourage all of you today that I hope you can take from my story. They wrote me a letter back and said, Braun, we won't accept you into the engineering program. There's opening in a general. If you want to come down and take general studies, then we'll accept you. I had a decision to make. Do I want to go down there and take general studies? Or do I know what I want? Do I know my purpose? Do I know what I'm yearning for? I wrote a letter back to the University of Texas. Very few people know this. Wrote a letter back to the University of Texas and said, you know what? If you won't accept me in your engineering program, I'll go somewhere else. It was a bold move, right? Hey, this is what I want. If you're not going to take me, I'll go somewhere else. They wrote me a letter back and said, come on, and let me into their engineering program. Got into their engineering program. The first advisor that told me the classes to take actually said he didn't know up from down and put me in all of these classes. In these classes, what I realized is I didn't have the prereqs for them. So I was in classes that were a little beyond where I should be. I was taking Calculus 3, differential equations. At the same time, I was taking some of these other classes that I was supposed to have those done. And so I had to do some soul searching. What do I do? 1.6 GPA. My question to you, what bold moves do you need to make? What reality do you have to face? I had to face reality. The reality was I wasn't cutting it at the University of Texas. What was I going to do? And I need to act with purpose and walk in wisdom and nurture my dream that I've been yearning for. So what did I do? Most of you know I have an engineering degree now, but what did I do at that time? I took all the counsel And I said, no, my bold move right now is I'm going to go back and take all the classes that I took at junior college at the university level, at the University of Texas, and repeat my entire sophomore and junior year of the classes that I really needed at the University of Texas. So I went back and took calculus 1, 2, 3, differential equations, all of those math classes the next year, and repeated the years that I had already done so I could lay the foundation and achieve what I wanted to achieve. So fast forward, just for today, just to give you this a little bit quick, fast forward. I got into those classes that I had failed after I repeated the foundational classes, and I started making good grades and passing them. My senior year at the University of Texas, I got a letter from the university because of my first semester. I've been really working with them on saying, man, I was just in the wrong classes. They wrote me a letter that basically, I'm trying to think of how to say this. It validated the work that I'd put in, and also took away all the voices in my head and from my counselors and my advisors that told me maybe this wasn't for me, when I knew it was my purpose and my dream and what I was yearning for. The letter that I got from the University of Texas said this: Braun, we're so sorry you got caught up in the UT red tape. An unforgiving university told me they were going to wipe out my entire first semester. So they took that first semester, that's an unforgiving university, and wiped the slate clean so that when I could graduate, I graduated with a 3.5 in the mechanical engineering program at the University of Texas. Man, what a journey. But what I want to tell you is, if I didn't take the bold moves, if I didn't face reality, if I didn't act with purpose, if I didn't really focus and dig in and nurture the dream and let other people take it away from me, I wouldn't have got that letter. I wouldn't have graduated with that engineering degree. So I hope whatever it is that you're working on, no, you've got to face reality. I needed to go back and get some foundational things so that I could achieve what I wanted to achieve. I needed to invest a lot of money to go back and repeat some things so that I could get to where I wanted to go. So what's that for you? Are there people around you, counselors, advisors, questioning you, but you know your purpose, you know who you want to be? Take that bold move. Do what's necessary to get to where you want to go. Nurture that dream and yearn, that yearning that you've got inside of you to go do this. What I've realized over the last few weeks especially, and that's what my live was about last week, is let's not just try. What are you moving forward in conviction and commitment? It's reminding me of where I was back in that day and what I did to get my engineering degree. I was taking speed reading class, comprehension classes, I was taking math classes, anything I could do to figure out a way to get there and to make it. So what's that for you? If you'll do me a favor too, if this has resonated with you, or you want to know a little bit more about how I did that, or some information or some things on how you could do it too, write that in there of how it touched you. I don't often tell stories about myself. I usually talk about the clients that I'm serving. This is my first time to really reflect on it and say, man, what does it take to live a strong life, a brawny life? And this is the first time sharing it. So thank you for allowing me to share it with you. I look forward to hearing about your strong, bold